Welcome to the Can Innovate podcast, the first ever podcast designed to showcase Canadian thought leadership. These innovators share industry insights, entrepreneurial best practices, lessons learned, and other tips that we can incorporate right into our lives, our careers, and our businesses. So let's get inspired. We are really lucky today. We've got Angela Johnson, who is the founder and president of Medical Confidence. This lady has over 2 decades of executive management and business leadership experience. Prior to venturing into healthcare leadership, she's helped global Fortune 500 companies solve the most complex business issues. In 2008, her sister struggled with a very rare neurological condition, an experience which had a huge, profounding impact on Angela, which compelled her to focus on helping other individuals overcome the same obstacles in the Canadian healthcare system. This is when she founded Medical Confidence. Since 2009, Medical Confidence has helped individuals navigate the complexities and silos of the Canadian healthcare system to become empowered healthcare consumers with more than 11,000 physicians and specialists. Angela's also, I don't know when she has the time, is also the author of the step-by-step guide to navigating Canada's healthcare system and minimizing your wait time. Welcome, Angela.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm really excited to be part of this. I've been listening to some of your podcasts, and I must admit, I'm flattered to be part of the crew that you have in your list of guests. So this is really an honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you for making the time. No, we got to get down to this because this is so fascinating. What exactly is medical confidence?
Well, really, the essence of it is that we are playing a role that our primary care practitioners, so I use the word practitioners just because there are nurse practitioners that play the role of what we traditionally know as a family doctor. But playing the role that all of us hope our family doctors could play, but aren't properly funded by the government to play the role. It's really helping patients navigate the healthcare system and advocate on their behalf for them. And the system was built in Canada, and it is a fabulous system when you compare it to our neighbors in the South, down in the States, and the challenges that they have in access to care. But ours are different in that our system was really built with practitioners in mind as opposed to the patient's experience. And as our government has allocated its budget out to the different parts of the system, everyone focuses on their discrete area of their service. And what happens is the patient, though, ultimately is in and out of these discrete services throughout their experience and their journey as a patient. And so there's this lack of integration across the patient's experience, and it's those places that the patient gets lost or they're delayed through obstacles that they just don't know inherently how to address or how to overcome. And that's our job. Our job is to make sure they get to the right specialist the first time, making sure that they're not delayed by any needed testing and imaging, making sure that they know how to partner with their physicians so that they get the best experience out of the appointment when they go in. It's all of that and looking at them as a holistic patient to help them through that process and onto their road to recovery. Ultimately, that's what we do.
That is amazing because I actually had an autoimmune condition and I actually did not know where to go, and I must have bounced around for I think almost 18 months and I still don't have an answer. It's just very difficult to navigate to figure out where you need to go when you're trying to self-diagnose your own self because you can't get anyone to actually, hear you and help you figure things out. So this is amazing.
Yeah. I can tell you it's very rewarding helping various people with different medical conditions that have been struggling, become disillusioned and frustrated. They tend to lose hope. And when we find them and they find us, there's newfound hope and there's, it's a real delight and enjoyment and fulfillment of your your day and your occupation to know that you've made a difference in someone's life. So yeah, we love what we do.
Oh, that's amazing. So, this all came about with your sister.
Yeah. For myself personally, yes. I was working at IBM at the time. My sister and I was all over the world, traveling constantly, working on different client problems and helping them solution them. And it was exciting. It really was. But at the same time, my sister was going through some real challenges where she went undiagnosed, I would say, for many, many years. Eventually, I think you could say she self-diagnosed with what I call Dr. Google. And I think we can all relate to that one.
Yeah.
And so she eventually found a neurologist. She lives just in Alberta. So she found a neurologist at Foothills who was willing to give it a go, basically, and try to treat her. He felt that she probably had the right diagnosis herself. And so having had no experience in the condition, really what he said was, I haven't got any experience, but we'll try it. And so she was open to that. She was just delighted to have somebody finally accept her as a patient that was willing to try to treat her. And so within a few months, though, however, she lost about 30 pounds on a frame she didn't have even a couple of pounds to lose. And she also developed some really severe heart problems. And so the family became very worried about her, as any family members would. And so what I did is I actually went to McMaster and studied life sciences. I did a Bachelor of Science in Life Sciences with a focus I took every elective I could in neuro science. So I didn't feel too nervous about trying to dig into textbooks and dig into seeing, how maybe I could help for a neurological issue. So I started with trying to find the world's leading expert in the condition she was diagnosed in, and I found him at Stanford University, and I picked up the phone and called him, and lo and behold, he answered the phone, which is, foreign to us Canadians, but Americans, physicians, they actually answer their telephones.
Wow.
So he was very helpful, just a lovely person, in that he said, she's not in any condition to really travel. Why don't you get these tests done and I'll take a look at them and I'll give you my thoughts. And so we did that. And within a short period of time, we were back on the phone with him, the three of us together. So it was himself and my sister and myself. And he said, I looked at everything. You're definitely a clear case of this condition, but you're on the wrong medications. And if you don't get off of them, your long-term prognosis is not good. And so her reaction was a big shock to me at the time, but it's not anymore. And that was, well, I don't know how to tell my treating neurologist. And so I realized after I got over the shock of it all, I realized she was very concerned about the fact that she could offend her physician and that he would basically fire her as a patient. And that she would be left alone again. And alone was worse than with a physician, but inadequate care. And I've realized that we as Canadians, we're far more passive in our nature than our neighbors. And we've been taught to accept whatever the system gives us, we should take and be thankful and grateful for. And I decided that day that I thought that was wrong, and that if we didn't advocate for ourselves, then who was going to advocate for us? And the only way that we're going to get healthy is if we're engaged and we're active and involved as participants in our own healthcare. And so that's what I did.
That is amazing. I mean, seriously, wow. I'm almost kind of speechless, which if you've listened to the podcast, that's never the case. But you're a true, not just an inspiration, you're kind of like a hero, especially for me anyways, because This is a huge problem that you're tackling. And I can't even imagine if, how you could have possibly got it off the ground. Like, there must have been resistance from all the different, practitioners out there, specialists, or, just in general, because you are shaking up the way things have been done for forever.
Yes. And that's very true. I think some people have tried to do this service in the past, kind of be a healthcare navigator or advocate, patient advocate. And the market or the industry hasn't really accepted it in the past. I think timing is right. And, entrepreneurs, timing is everything in the market. So I think our market is very different than it used to be, and we've entered at the right time. So I think people are a lot more open to it. I think, physicians are younger generations are coming in, and they're more open to new technologies and new ways of doing things. And there's many of them are saying, you know what, I know I can't provide that level of service. I wish I could. So I'm happy that, there's a company there that is able to do this for my patient. But what I've also seen happen is most physicians, both on the family physician side or the general practitioner side and the specialist side, are saying, wait a minute, you make my job so much easier because you're identifying candidate specialists that I wouldn't normally have introduced myself to and wasn't aware of. And you're helping me by drafting my referral for me that I can then go and improve on. But at least it gets me started on a draft. And you tell me what requisitions of testing and imaging that specialist requires. So I make sure I order those things at the right time. And you even tell me what their wait times are. So you did all that work for me, and I don't even have to pay you for it. And specialists, you made sure that patient was the right patient that has the condition that my practice focuses in, versus sending me referrals and me seeing patients that I can't treat, only to take a valuable spot in my calendar that I have to send them on to someone else or send them back to their general practitioner. But you also made sure the testing and imaging was done. You also made sure that the patient knew how to speak the language before they walked in the door. They were organized. They could communicate their symptoms and their concerns. They had their questions already documented in advance when they walked in. Everything, and they showed up. There's so many no-shows that happen because the patient got the appointment 8, 9, 10 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And they only, they don't remember because it wasn't marked down in their calendar, or they don't even look at a calendar now because they're not at work anymore. They're disabled. And, the idea of using a general calendar isn't the norm for them anymore. And so they just don't show up to their appointments in far too often. So all of it actually, by providing the support, it's supporting, the 3 legs of the stool. It's supporting the physicians, the specialists, the GP, and the patient, and providing that integration across all those pillars for them.
This is so amazing. I mean, you're talking about streamlining the process, the metrics, providing them the holistic review. Like, that Fortune 500 experience that you have in solving those complex business issues and problems has really come through to really allow you to be able to tackle this type of a mountain. This is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, if I hadn't done that work at IBM, I would not be equipped with the tools to be able to tackle this problem. For sure not. Yeah, it was definitely a great place to learn and develop the skills that I leverage every day in this work.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So how does this work then? So now I'm really intrigued. So since I'm a patient or, a user, where do I go? Like, would I go onto a website or an app? Like, where would I go?
So there's multiple ways that patients can come to us. They can come to us directly, and they can pick up the phone and call us through our phone. and there's always someone there to answer the phone.
Wow.
Or they can put in a request via email to us, or they can put an inquiry from our website. And so those are all sort of the ways that an individual or patient can come to us directly. They also, though, in some cases, and this is where we started out working with individuals just at the beginning, from 2009 to 2013. Once we perfected the service, we developed a service that was very much what the Canadian patient needed. We then went and targeted corporations. And so now some corporations offer it as part of their employee benefits. And so you can just call us and you get access to us that way. Or we're also working with some of the insurance companies. So if you have disability insurance benefits, you can access us through your insurance company.
Oh, wow. You've really totally streamlined things. This is really amazing. Wow. I'm really glad I met your acquaintance. I know what I'm doing after this podcast. So what excites you most about this industry? Like, I feel like you've kind of tackled most of it.
Well, it's never done. There's always more. I think there's opportunity to get more strategic in our solutions on, supporting mental health patients or supporting diabetes patients, right? And helping them learn how to manage and cope with their condition, giving them more tools to help them manage it on their own. We've been doing some really innovation things about trying to scale our business, right? So we've partnered with academia, with Seneca College and York University to do artificial intelligence, so that we're incorporating machine learning into our process and our workflows. So what we're able to do now is we map a patient's case to our specialist network, and we're able to identify candidate specialists no longer by doing a manual search, but by automating that search. So then we get a prioritized list of specialists that are good candidates that then we go out and we, do a deeper vetting, but at least, it's not done by a manual search anymore. So we're able to help scale our business by implementing technologies like that.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. And the technology is advancing so quickly. It's crazy of all the things you can do these days.
Yeah. So it's staying current in all those types of things to make sure that, we can scale as a business, but also stay ahead of, future competitive threats, because we definitely forged a new market there. This type of service didn't exist before, but now that we're having success, it's bringing in, new entrants, of course. So while we have an advantage on being the first to market, we have to constantly be evolving and improving to keep ahead of that market.
That's amazing. So you must have learned a lot of things, putting this all together. So was there any kind of like aha moment or a lesson learned or something you kind of went, hey, please, I wish someone had told me this, or I wish I had understood what this actually meant? Is there anything like that you could share with us?
Yeah. For me, naturally as a person, I'm a problem solver. It's innate in me, but I also have, I kind of think of myself I describe myself as the 3 Ps. I'm a problem solver. I'm very patient as a person, and I'm very persistent. And those 3 characteristics have gotten me through a lot. And I would say my biggest aha moment is, you got to keep relying on those things. But at the same time, you can't, it's not for the faint of heart. And you need to find people to surround yourself that you can rely on to provide you the emotional support, the financial support, and to be your champion. And, because you're going to have down days, no matter what you are, and no matter how patient and how persistent you are. So what I found was you can't find all that in one person. You need to have, someone that gives you your financial support is different than the person that is your emotional support. And your emotional support can't all come from one person either. There's your sort of, who you'll go and vent to, but there's also the people that you need to go to try to give you brainstorming advice and solid business advice. I would encourage whoever gets into being an entrepreneur that you find those people and you grab hold and don't let go of them, because they're really precious and you're going to really rely on them.
I love that. I love your 3 Ps: problem solver, patience, and persistence. I need to work on the patience part. Persistence, I definitely have down in problem solving, but patience is probably my weakness. So that's amazing. So was there any kind of tools or resources that you're kind of able to leverage? Like, there's all these innovation hubs. The government has tons of these, types of tools out there, or maybe there wasn't anything around when you were trying to launch all this together.
Well, I got to admit that when I first started, that they were there. I just didn't know about them. And so awareness is very enlightening. So the ones that we discovered and we learned along the way is leveraging academia and partnering with academia. There are some really fabulous students out there that come at no real cost, that want to do innovative and creative things, that under the guidance of a professor, they can really help you develop, in pilot type programs, and you can, do some pretty cool innovation. And what's great is you couple that then with, OCE grants and NSERC grants or SHRED grants from the government. You can launch some pretty incredible things that you envision, but you go, how the heck am I ever going to find the money to do that or the resources? So I would say that is a huge thing. And so we've partnered with Seneca College and with York University. And I got to tell you, the stuff that's coming out of those teams, it's incredible.
It's amazing how much, university and colleges have changed, over the decades, right? Like, these guys are just empowered to challenge things and be misfits, basically. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But, it's a great opportunity for them to develop more hands-on experience versus just that, academic textbook learning. It gives them an opportunity to really learn by being engaged with business so that they're more marketable when they get out in the workforce. So it's a great benefit to everybody, right? All sides are, and for me, in problem solving is if you can get everybody in the boat, everyone has a win, then you're going to have great success.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's fantastic. Can you share maybe a sales or marketing tip for those that are trying to kind of get their businesses out there?
Yeah, for sure. I would say it took us quite a while to get our elevator pitch right. And if you don't get your elevator pitch right and you don't have it down cold and you can't do it in, 30 seconds or less, then you got to keep working and keep drafting. But once you got it right and it captures the value that the person, they can easily understand the value. Once you've got that done, go network like crazy. But don't network like crazy until you get your elevator pitch right.
Oh, I love that advice. Network like crazy once you get your elevator pitch right that actually captures the value essence. That's amazing. Is there any other advice you want to provide to any of those aspiring or budding innovators out there?
Yeah, it would be try not to do everything yourself. You will burn out real fast. It's impossible to do it all, and it's easy to fall in that trap, especially when you're beginning, because you don't want to spend money and you figure your time is cheap and you trust yourself and if you're going to get it done right, trust me to do it. right? So that is great in the very, very beginning when you're trying to figure it out. But very quickly, like even when you're in that elevator pitch mode and creating your elevator pitch, you need to find a team. And sometimes that team might be volunteers. It might be, some arrangement you make where you don't have to pay, but you pay later. I don't know. But, funding is the issue. But you need to find a team. You need to trust them, and you need to delegate to them. And if you don't do that, you're going to burn out, and there'll just be too much work that just doesn't get done, and you won't be able to grow.
Oh, those are wise words. I'm still trying to learn. That is something I need to learn more how to do that. Not do everything myself. I think I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, which I'm sure all of us try to be like that when you get your passion project going, right? So
for sure, it's your, you think about it, it's your baby, right? Like it really is. And so, as parents and as a parent, you go, I really want to care and nurture and be the parent, and I don't want other people to teach my children how to grow, right? And mold them to be different individuals than what I want them to be. So it's the same thing with, your company. It's your vision. It's what you want it to grow to be. And you're afraid to let go and let others possibly influence that vision. I think that tends to happen. But you're also right. We tend to be perfectionists in wanting to make it just right. And then that slows us down to the point where it's never going to be perfect. Never.
So true. That's when you get to shift and pivot and you get to see what works and what doesn't work. But you're So, Angela, how on earth do you manage it all? Like, is there a key business philosophy or favorite quote, like something keeps you kind of like eureka moment in front of you and helps you stay focused?
One is I try very much at the beginning of my day to prioritize for the team what I need them to focus on. And then we have a daily checkpoint. Like, we all start our day on a call. And, it's a matter of an opportunity to everybody to raise their concerns and what, maybe there's something that's come up that they need to talk about. But it also helps me direct the team on what they need to do. And prior to that, I try to say to myself, okay, what do I need, to make sure we accomplish today? But then when I'm in the moment, whatever I'm doing, I try to stay totally focused on that. No matter how many things have come at me, I try to stay focused on the task and not get overwhelmed or distracted by other things. So it's prioritizing and doing that sort of, staying focused and in the moment. If you try to multitask, nothing gets done well. At least that's what I find. Everything is kind of half done and everyone feels like I didn't really get her full attention. So if I'm there, I'm fully in the moment and not multitasking. The other thing I do for myself, just to ground me, is I have a vision board and it's in my office and I change it every year and try to refocus and prioritize myself on what I'm looking for to achieve in me and my life. And I find that vision board very helpful. And then the other thing I do is I have a daily message that I get from the universe, and it comes in my inbox. And it has a little entrepreneurial focus on it because it, when I filled it out, it asked me about my goals and what I was trying to do with my company. And every day I get a personalized message about just from the universe about, you're rocking it today, or, it's a little uplifting message. And honestly, I've shared it with my team, and I think most of my team has subscribed to it, but I love that thing. It just gets me going every morning, and, I dust off yesterday's problems and I start again today.
That's amazing. Is that like a website, or is that like an app, or I might?
Yeah, it's a website, and you can just Google it. It's called The Universe. Literally, just Google it, and then you can go in and you subscribe, and it asks you some personal questions. And then every morning at 4 a.m, you're going to get your little personalized message.
Oh my God, what a bold statement to call your name the universe. That is awesome. For our listeners out there, I'll definitely put it in the show notes so you can also hit subscribe as well. That is so awesome. So is there a book that you're currently reading or something that really resonated or inspired you? Besides those textbooks in neuroscience?
Yeah, so I kind of have normally like so right now I have kind of like a personal side of me that just is my downtime, and I'll read like a novel, just a personal novel that I'll have going at any given time that has nothing other than, brain candy for me.
Nice.
There's nothing else about it that it's for. And then what I'll also do is kind of have more of a subject going that's related to the business. So right now I'm doing The Broken Brain. It's a video series of 8 series that talks about, how to heal your body and your brain. So it can be for Alzheimer's patients. It can be for, mental health conditions. It could be someone who's had maybe a spinal cord injury and now it's developing, into mental health issues. So that's a series that I'm listening to in my spare time, in addition to your podcasts, of course.
Of course.
Now that I've been introduced to you, I've been listening to them as well. And I'm only down, I think I've gotten through 4, and I've got at least, I think there's 4 or 5 more for me to go through. So I'm enjoying those. It's great to hear other stories of entrepreneurs and what they're doing, what business need they're solving or market issue they're solving, but also that, their tips and tricks of being an entrepreneur.
Thank you. I love it too. I'm actually honored that all of you guys have taken a chance on me to help tell that story, because I find all of you guys beyond fascinating. So I get to be the winner in this situation. That's for sure. So, do you have like a personal habit that helps you stay productive? Like some people mention about the meditation in the morning or, being a night hawk.
Yeah, so for me, my personal habit is getting to boot camp or spinning class. So for me, if I'm physically strong, then I'm mentally strong. If I'm not physically strong, my mental state starts to sag. And when I'm physically strong, I can feel like the world can just fall down around me and I can cope. But if I'm not staying on top of my spinning or my boot camp classes, I get in a lull. It's not good.
Oh, so we have a lot of international listeners out there. Is there a favorite place that you get some downtime? Like, was there like a restaurant or a city or a town or a festival?
Yeah, so for me, it's Georgian Bay. So it's our big body of water. It's in Ontario, and we have a cottage on the bay. And so I go up there and I have a half acre of garden that I get to play in dirt. And I look out over the water, or I get out on my kayak, or I go for a swim, or get out on the boat. And it's a great place to just get away from all of, the noise and the chatter, and just kind of reground myself and reflect. And I come back well refreshed and ready to go again.
Oh,
yeah, that's my spot.
That's amazing. I mean, cottage country is hopefully soon to be live and well. For those, I don't know when I'm going to air this, but we're recording this in the middle of April, and we've just had another freak winter storm here. So we keep hoping that spring and summer, actually we could just skip spring. Let's just go right to summer is around the corner.
Yeah, we always get one last bang, of snow. And I do feel like though it never really warmed up, and then we had the cold snow snap again. It just has been it just keeps going and going and going. And I'm hoping that the next week or two, it's over.
I'm with you. It's time to get down to Georgian Bay.
Yes, it definitely is.
And Angela, finally, how can our listeners connect with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn and I do use Twitter, and my Twitter handle is Med Confidence. And obviously, find us on our website and just reach out. Give us a call.
That's right. Oh, the fantastic. And then I know we briefly mentioned about your book, your online book that you have.
Yeah. So what happened was, as we, have been helping patients try to prepare for their appointment and just share with them how to overcome obstacles in the healthcare system, they kept saying, well, do you have this written down? Do you have? And so I said to myself, okay, one vacation, I sat for 2 weeks at the beach and I pounded it out. And it's very short. It's more of a monograph than it is, a book. But it's got 14 tips to help, overcome the challenges that we're often faced within the system. And we used use case examples, so experiences that other patients have had. So it makes it, a nice, easy read. You can get through it in a couple hours. It's not, it's not overwhelming. So yeah, every one of our patients gets a copy of it, and our nurses use it as part of their coaching.
Amazing. Oh, excellent. I'm going to definitely add everything into the show notes so everybody has everything.
Yeah, no, I'll make sure you get a copy and that you can post it up. And we have it both in French and English. So I'm happy to share both if given we're a bilingual country, I can give you both copies.
That sounds wonderful. Oh my God, Angela, thank you so much. Like, seriously, not just an inspiration, but a hero, a mentor now, and seriously, an amazing leader. You are just really, you're pretty cool, man.
Oh, thanks. That's very nice to hear. We as entrepreneurs, I'm not sure we all get to hear that stuff very often. I feel good after talking to you. Thank you.
I might change my name to the Universe Part 2. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Thanks again for joining us this week. It's been a blast as usual. Next week, we've got a really interesting guest. Here's a quick sneak peek.
But really, we want to encourage people to get off the app, to use it to meet people face to face. Stop, worrying about, should I meet, should I not meet? Like, the first thing is this something you want to do? Is this an activity that you would want to share with another single person? And certainly because you're indicating certain key parameters, you want to view dates from men or women or both, whatever your sexual preference is. You want to view dates from people within this age gap. And so you can create those parameters, but more of the emphasis is on the experience. So the date becomes the product, not necessarily the person. So that's where this is the key differentiator on WooYou.
Thanks everyone for joining in and tuning in this week. Next week, we've got another really cool episode. I hope you enjoyed the sneak peek. I'm going to try to do this and see how this works. If you guys are interested, like the little sneak teasers, let me know. I'd love to hear back from all of you. And don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review. And let me know if you know of another Canadian innovator that's doing something really cool around the world. Let's get them showcased. Or if there's an innovation trend that you would like to specifically focus on. Anyways, looking forward to hearing from all of you and talk to you next week. Cheers.